we go back to a video with Sergio and Hershel chasing this, probably one of the most important collections in Japan. And at the time they couldn't make a deal. Unfortunately, we couldn't buy anything from the collection. And then fast forward, man, it is sick. Wow. That is crazy. I thought it was a perfect time to sort of get an update on deals and the company and what we're doing and where we're going. It's funny because I was watching The Last Dance this weekend, the Michael Jordan documentary, and it talked about how Jordan was never satisfied, and I think that's, you know, a big portion of success is never being satisfied and wanting to continue achieving goals and continue you know, sort of winning. And for us, we're not on the level of Michael Jordan or have the accolades of Michael Jordan, but I wanted to sort of, you know, I watched that and I like woke up and I was like, okay, you know what, we need to continue chasing and continue fighting. And, you know, our success is based on purely the product, our finds, our discoveries. That's our success. So we're in the pursuit right now of hopefully buying 2 Kode cars. We're also chasing a very, very special F40. We're also chasing a really special Lamborghini, a car that hasn't been seen in years. It's actually currently in like this, maybe you call it a shipping container. It's rotting away, let's face it. And we're hopefully gonna discover that car, pull that out, and we've got a bunch of other really, really interesting pursuits. So stay tuned. This is about chasing more unicorns. This is about chasing more important cars, and excited to share this next level of curated with you guys. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man?
How are you?
Struggling a bit. What's going on?
Real quick, where are we at on the Reventone?
So the Reventone we have bought, I'll tell you because it'll be a good topic for the sales thing. I'll be in
Love
15,
it.
20 minutes.
Okay, awesome, brother.
Right.
Sounds great. All right, bye. So we are also chasing right now a very cool Reventone, which we've never owned, and it's aged so well. You see a Reventone and it's just the color, everything. So we've never had one. I'm super excited to get that. At the same time as you see us chasing these things and actually trying to be successful, this is coming after 2 disasters, a collection of AMGs and then a Miura that we have chased for probably a year now. Steven's chased the collection of AMGs probably 10 years, 12 years. We've been chasing, we've got attorneys involved, all these different things. And unfortunately, it looks like we lost both of those. We'll one day probably tell the story a little bit more in depth. There might still be a chance that we get them. But still, listen, that is the entire part of what we do is, you know, you've got to take the risk and you've got to pursue, and you can't just sit back and expect, oh, I'm going to get this or that. You have to chase.
Wow, look at that.
How you doing? Good morning.
A cool detail with a lot of these cars is just the incidental wear and tear. Look at the texture that's still on the key, where a lot of the times we'll see them where they're glossy and smooth. There's still the dimpling on the key.
Kilometers.
Yep. A couple details that we were looking at. The texture, the grain of the leather, though we don't think about it, our hands are actually abrasive. If you look at the shift gates, there's not a single mark going into 5th gear. Besides on its initial test drive, it's probably never been in 5th gear. The driver bolster, there's one minor mark. It's just unbelievable condition, even down to the center armrest, where we replaced one of them on a Diablo 60, and it was just a mission to try to get it to sit right. Absolutely perfect, not an indent on there. All these little things that add up to making the whole package of the 200-mile car.
Wow. What a car. It's sold a couple years ago at auction. It is the lowest mileage Diablo GT, I think, in the world. Basically a new car. Wow.
nuts. Got barely a mark on the heat shielding. Oh yeah, the original zip ties like you were saying.
Even you can see all the exhaust brackets. You can see the zinc coloring. Wow.
And it's got the Italian horn.
Nice. Very important.
Yeah, of course. All the carbon's super nice, all the stitching's incredible, correct hardware. It's a really, really, really spectacular example. It's been driven too, which is cool.
How many miles?
39,000 kilometers.
Oh, wow.
This car, it's the only SE30 example produced in the Grigio over the Rosso Alcantara. So a true factory one-off. At some point, this car went to the Middle East. It was taken out of the Middle East. We brought it to Europe. And then a good friend of ours out of Germany, Leo, basically oversaw this restoration where this car was stripped down to basically a bare chassis. Every nut, bolt, washer, carbon, the interior was redone, and the details are just phenomenal. If you look, even the headrest was with the correct gold stitching. I mean, this is as good as you could get for a restoration. All of the details look phenomenal. The one thing that's wrong is the shift knob, but that's not the end of the world. But man, this car
What about
came
the
out
dorso? Is that
stunning. That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. This is all correct.
Cool. And we saw the car had some good mileage. Was it in pretty rough shape when it went into restoration?
So it was just old, and it wasn't that rough. But with any Diablo today or any 90s supercar, if you want something perfect like this, this car can now be shown, it can be driven, it can be enjoyed. And it's basically the way it would have been delivered new from the factory. So as really as close as you can get to a perfect factory car, and in some ways actually better than when the car left the factory new.
And it's kind of the best of both worlds. Like, it's a brand new car, but it's high mileage, so you can drive it.
You can drive it, you can enjoy it, and everything's new. I mean, it is absolutely insane. The color, it's hard to actually find anything that you could flaw or anything wrong. That's the only thing, honestly, on the entire car that I would say. It's going to a great home, which I'm super excited.
Sold already?
Yeah, it's sold already. Major Ferrari collector. And we're slowly doing the Lord's work and converting each Ferrari collector one by one. So we are standing with what in my belief is, and actually talking to a few other experts, the lowest mileage Diablo GT left in the world. This car famously sold in 2018 at the Monaco auction for around, I believe it was just under $1 million or $1 million. A car that at the time broke a record for Diablo GT. We're in a phase now where I want to go back to some of our roots of chasing very specific cars, and this is one car that I specifically woke up one morning. I remember it existed. I remembered who the owner was. And I called my business partner who has a relationship with him, and I said, dude, you've got to call this gentleman who has one of the most impressive hypercar collections in the world. And I said, man, let's just make him a crazy offer for his GT. And luck had it, that morning he was open to moving a few cars. He said he needed the room, and he'd only driven it about once or twice since the auction in Monaco. And this car is just such a complete time capsule. The next lowest mileage GT I've ever heard of was about 2,000 or 3,000 miles. This car is 270 miles. Right now we're in the process of detailing it. We're gonna take a ton of little detailed photos. Obviously the tires, things like certain finishes, all of the bolts, all of the hinges, and it actually smells new the way it should have. Even the brakes on this car, basically that's the way a Diablo GT would have been delivered. These turn colors over time, and just such a great example. Now, a lot of people make fun of us sometimes, and they sort of hate on a car like this, but with Diablo GTs, remember, all of these cars were European, so a lot of the Diablo GTs have been driven, they've been driven hard, they have high mileage, which is absolutely amazing. I would say if you have a Diablo GT, use it, enjoy it, put a ton of miles, it's what I would do. But for future generations and restoration point of view, you can't restore a car without understanding how they looked when they were original. So this is a blueprint. It's something that a collector will definitely appreciate. I believe it will be going to a home where it will not get driven. It's part of it will be part of an important collection of historic preservation cars with original paint, original finishes. So this is something that's super special, and our goal over this year is to start chasing these cars again and really pursuing them. Man, these are sick.
What is this powered by?
599 motor.
Same with that?
No, that's Aventura.
Oh.
Ready with this one?
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Finally, huh?
Finally. Feels like it's been like years chasing these things. And here they are. Hopefully we can get some more out of them. This is really cool.
So it's super surreal to see these cars here, and it's sort of a, I guess it's the best way to describe what we do every day, and it's always planting seeds and sort of remembering where significant cars are. And just because you might not be able to buy a car at a certain moment, you've got to sort of keep track of significant cars. We are working on an incredible young collector who's putting together one of the best collections of interesting prototypes from the 90s and 2000s. And he brought up Ken Okuyama, and for me, this car, it speaks so much. I think especially this car based on the Lamborghini Aventador V12, but more importantly, inspired by poster cars and dream cars from another generation. And when Ken designed this car, some of his inspiration was the Lancia Stratos Zero. And with Gandini's passing, I just think, you know, an embodiment of these early wedge-shaped designs. This is just as cool as it gets. There's only one of these in the world, and obviously the other Kode car is just as significantly important and is incredible. And Ken Okuyama, we're looking forward to meeting him. We're gonna have the opportunity, before these go to their new home in Europe, we're gonna have the opportunity to have one or two of these shown at Monterey Car Week alongside Ken. So super surreal to even be doing these types of deals, chasing true unicorns, one-offs, and have this opportunity. And this is all part of us just thinking bigger, thinking out of the box, making things like this happen. And that's our goal really for this year and for many more years to come.